Welcome to Never Too Late for Fitness Radio, bringing baby boomers proven strategies and innovative products for getting fit, staying fit, so you can live a longer, healthier, and happier life. Here's your host, best-selling author and fitness advocate, Phil Ferriss.
This is Phil Ferriss, and welcome to our show. Never Too Late for Fitness Radio provides answers and straight talk about fitness, nutrition, and healthy lifestyles for people over 50. Today, we're going to take a hard look at a condition that the American Heart Association says impacts 47 million people, and many experts feel will soon overtake smoking as a leading risk factor for heart disease. I'm talking about metabolic syndrome. Although it is becoming as prevalent as the common cold, most people don't fully understand it or how it puts their health at risk. My guest today is going to help us understand the underlying causes of metabolic syndrome, how it impacts people's lives, and what they can do to reclaim their health naturally. Today's guest, Franziska Wintergerst, is CEO of Metabolic Balance, Inc. The Metabolic Balance program is a sophisticated nutrition system based on the client's blood values and unique health profile. It was founded by Dr. Funfack and originated in 2002 in Germany. Today, Metabolic Balance has become a global company which is present in more than 35 countries. More than 500,000 people practice the program worldwide. Metabolic Balance, Inc. was established in 2010 to bring the program to the United States and is headquartered in San Francisco. As a leading holistic weight management program in much of Europe today, Metabolic Balance is backed by over 25 years of scientific study and is managed by dedicated physicians and nutritional scientists. The reason we're highlighting Metabolic Balance today is that its primary strategic focus is combating insulin resistance, which is a leading cause of metabolic syndrome. Another reason is that it promotes sensible and lasting weight loss without creating any kind of health deficit. Franziska is responsible for strategic direction and market development in the U.S. She is also the CEO of Metabolic Balance in Germany and president of their French subsidiary. She holds a degree in international business studies and is near completion for her master's in nutrition. Having lived and worked abroad for many years, she brings extensive experience in international market development as well as intercultural competence. Franziska's background allows her to adapt the Metabolic Balance program to local markets while ensuring best practice principles are upheld. Securing the ongoing growth and success and recognition of metabolic balance in the U.S. as it is in Europe. Thank you for joining us and taking time out of your busy day.
Thank you very much, Phil. Thank you for the opportunity to be here to talk. Thank you very much for your invitation.
You're welcome. Now, I wonder if you could just tell us a little bit of background about how your background and how you came to Metabolic Balance.
Talking about me and talking about my background, you would need to know that I was still brought up in the eastern part of Germany. So I was brought up with a heavy load of travel restrictions. I was not allowed to go to all of Europe, or even going to the US would have been unthinkable. I was brought up in an economy and certainly also in a limited choice of foods. So foods were rarely available, scarcely available, and we didn't have any kind of food choice. So I remember an event when I was a child that I had my sister and I sitting on a table, and we just had got as a present some grapes, and we just kind of sharing the grapes one by one in between us because it was so rare to have this rare food at our table. So referring to my development, to my professional development, it was an urgent wish to get to know the world outside. This has brought me to my international business studies degree. This has brought me to traveling abroad. This has brought me also to continuing my studies in Great Britain, and afterwards trying to experience also totally different cultures and ways of thinking by living 5 years abroad, by living 5 years in Taipei in Taiwan, so in an Asian country. And this is also something which is still driving me to try to understand different things of different ways of thinking, and also different foods and different cultural backgrounds, to explore them, to draw knowledge from them in order to kind of develop a universal understanding of maybe it sounds too big, of mankind. So one of my sides of interest is real international business. My other passion, due to the scarcity of food that I had experienced in my childhood, it's really foods, it's really nutrition. As you have said before, I'm about to complete a master's in nutrition at ION in the UK, but I have already also completed a nutrition certification in Germany. How did I come to I'm sorry?
You're good. That's impressive. I didn't realize you had that broad a background abroad. So tell us how you got to metabolic balance.
When I got back from the Asian expatriation, we were left in a very tiny, small village outside of Munich in Germany. And I was looking for new inspirations to pursue an international career, to pursue really being exposed to languages, to cultural differences. And luckily for me, and possibly also for Metabolic Balance, I came across this company which was really also being placed in the same village. I was applying. I was getting there, going there, starting to work there, and it has become my passion. So I started to prepare all of the trainings that still Dr. Wolf was holding, still his wife was holding, and I got into the international business department of Metabolic Balance, trying to find appropriate license holders that we now have in about 20 countries worldwide, who are together with me pushing the development of Metabolic Balance and trying to get the message about a healthy lifestyle and healthy eating habits across. We are now having Metabolic Balance available in more than 20 languages also, and we have drafted food lists according to the cultural background of all of these 20 to 30 different countries.
Wow.
When in 2010, I was first to the US, I was really impressed. I was really impressed also by the difference in food choices, by the very specific problems relating to food and to nutritional habits. And I was just saying I need to make a difference also in here. And when the CEO of Metabolic Balance US stopped to work for Metabolic Balance, I took over and I took the opportunity to try to grow Metabolic Balance in the US even bigger, being supported and helped by Mrs. Sylvia Egel, our Director for Coaching and Education, and also being supported by Len Tuccelli, our Director for Marketing and Sales. And together, at long distance, we're making a great team. And we also have twice a year here in the US the interesting presentations, updates, and answering medical questions of Dr. Didier Souffton, who is the Chief Medical Officer of Metabolic Balance worldwide.
Wow. So you're really doing a lot to improve the footprint in the United States, very similar to what you've done in Europe.
Yes.
What I'd like to do now is focus our attention a little bit from metabolic balance story to metabolic syndrome. And as I mentioned, it's growing problem in the United States, especially with baby boomers. Perhaps you can shed some light as to why it's growing so rapidly here and what people need to know so that they understand how it impacts their health.
Yes, Phil, you already have cited the American Heart Association. The American Heart Association, as well as the National Cholesterol Education Program, have provided definitions of the metabolic syndrome, as well as we have 3 or 4 other different definitions worldwide for this syndrome. Nevertheless, the definition of the American Heart Association seems to be more stringent and seems to be also appealing and easy to be translated into common language. So when we talk about metabolic syndrome, the one problem that we have is that normally we say it's only 3 out of 5 conditions, 3 out of 5 of the following conditions that need to be fulfilled. And when we are talking about 3 out of the 5 following conditions, lots of people would say, no, I'm just fulfilling the condition of obesity, of having an elevated or increased waist circumference. Starting out with this factor, we would talk about metabolic syndrome if we would have a waist circumference or belly fat larger than 40 inches in men or 35 inches in women. Together with that, a person who's prone or who might present metabolic syndrome may have an elevated blood pressure, which is over 135 or over 85 millimeters of mercury or higher. He or she might represent high triglyceride levels of 150 milligrams per deciliter or above. He or she might have low high-density lipoprotein, the famous HDL or good cholesterol. So she or he might have below 40 milligrams per deciliter in men or 40 milligrams per deciliter in men or 50 milligrams per deciliter in women. And or he or she might have high fasting blood glucose levels of 100. And this is where the American Heart Association is more stricter than the National Cholesterol Education Program, which is setting out 110 milligrams per deciliter. When we talk about the U.S., we have the problem that the metabolic syndrome increases as worldwide with age and physical inactivity. Here in the U.S., about 40% of the population aged 40 to 60 and even 60% of the population aged 60 to 69 years are concerned. And when we talk about metabolic syndrome, each of the factors cited above is not pathological in itself, and this makes it difficult to say or to point out the risk to have to represent the metabolic syndrome, because some of the factors still remain within the normal range. So it's rather their combination which constitutes a risk for degenerative cardiovascular disease. The main complication, and I talk about the main most serious complications that are being cited by medical doctors, are myocardial infarction, angina pectoris or unstable angina, cardiac rhythm disorders, even sudden death, or ischemic or hemorrhagic stroke.
Well, those are all pretty serious issues for people to have to face. So again, a lot of times people don't connect the dots between having 1 or 2 or 3 of the conditions and the health risk. But besides the risk of heart disease, how does having these factors affect people's quality of life?
You're right, Phil. You are absolutely right. This has only been the most serious consequences that I've described about the metabolic syndrome. Nevertheless, in people's everyday life, we really have a severe decrease in life expectancy and life quality. So even though in a general tendency we seem to live longer, at the end of our life we are seeming to spend a certain number and an increasing number of years in low quality of life. Patients will have to cope, or clients, when we talk about metabolic balance, have to cope with additional troubles that are related to the metabolic syndrome. And there I talk about asthma, about sleep apnea, about inflammatory diseases, such as joint pain in knees and hands. And when I talk about joint pain in knees and hands, let me talk about one example of a metabolic balance client who was really suffering exactly from this condition. We had a client, a 72-year-old lady, yes, still 72, already 72, who wanted to change her life, who wanted to increase, even though she didn't say so, her perceived quality of life. And when she was first walking in, she needed to use canes, walking sticks, to get into our practice. And after after she had walked for 3 years with these walking sticks because of the rheumatoid arthritis she was suffering from, after the Metabolic Balance program, it was possible for her to restart working without canes, without walking sticks, because we happened to reduce her inflammation to a degree that made exactly that possible to her. So it was, on one hand, the weight loss that she was experiencing. On the other hand, it was really also the reduction of inflammation in her body that was reducing her arthritis and that was allowing her to be in a much better health condition when she had finished the third phase of our Metabolic Balance program. And to continue, I'm sorry, I'm always cutting you. To continue, we are also, and that is rather new, related to the Metabolic Balance syndrome, is also an insignificant increase in developing different kinds of cancer. I've finished.
Okay. Now, having those kinds of successes where you see people's lives virtually change because now they can move and get around and do the things they want to do, that's got to be very rewarding. But based on what I've read about metabolic syndrome, it doesn't happen overnight. Yet when people want results, when they finally decide to take action on metabolic syndrome, they want results overnight. We live in the United States in the instant gratification society. This search for the quick fix with meds and fad diets often makes the condition worse. Can you explain why that is?
People are stressed out. They are stressed out in their jobs, in their daily private life challenges. And very often they try to recompensate with food. It's just kind of the one thing that they try to do good to their body or to cope with all of the other stresses they are having. So they don't really want to change. They don't really want to make an effort to change. They want to have the quick fix that needs to be there at an instant, as we were seeing it also in the percentages of bariatric surgery. So people also, they are tired of, on the other hand, they are tired of yo-yo dieting because it can do more harm than good to them. So they no longer, they don't believe any longer in making efforts. If this is answering your question.
Yeah, it is, because you talk about the yo-yo diet effect. Is many people have tried many diets, so their expectation is that it will fail. So they go into any program with an expectation of, oh, well, this is just going to prove once again that not only it fails, but I fail. People tend to personalize an awful lot about the diet programs because it relates to the body and their body image. And so that takes its toll emotionally on people because they say, oh, I can't do that. and they start not taking action. They don't control the things they can control because they think it won't make a difference. And then that leads to more problems, more health issues, more health risk, less mobility, and it becomes a downward spiral, which is very, very unfortunate. Now, what I'd like to do is kind of shift a little bit from, we all kind of agree that the metabolic syndrome is something that is serious, and there's a number of issues that have to be addressed there. But metabolic balance has a long proven history of helping people address metabolic syndrome. Why has your program gotten results where other programs haven't?
There are different, or there are two specific points where we are really different, where we really make a difference to other programs. One, when we're talking about other programs, we can say 95% of the proposed diets are really based on food restriction or even prohibition. As you were saying, they require permanent control of the eating behavior. People need to restrict themselves, and only if they have a small increase in emotional tension, as you were always also saying, for lots of reasons, every week, every day, they will stop, and they will no longer be capable and able also to obey to an additional restriction in their lives. So what we do at Metabolic Balance, we provide natural foods, unprocessed foods, but we don't provide restrictions. We don't exclude one macronutrient group so that you're going to develop a craving exactly for that group. What we are doing also differently, we are finding a real individualized approach. We are selecting foods depending on our client's body chemistry. This is why we are establishing, and it's no other program that's doing that at the moment, we are establishing blood labs before we are going to draft a client's nutritional plan. It's not only blood works in itself, but it's also our client's health condition. We are taking into account allergies. We are taking also into account food preferences. And obviously, we're taking into account physiological data of the client. So we have, on one hand, a highly individualized approach. We are establishing programs, including natural foods, but no deficits. So all of our programs include sufficient macro and micronutrients for our clients to lose weight and to go to better health conditions in a safe way that it will not lead them to cravings. And on the other hand, because we're talking about psychology, emotional support, we having our highly or well-trained coaches out there also in the US, who are health professionals, who are nutritionists, who are homeopaths, who are taking care of our clients during at least 10, and it's really the minimum number, at least 10 coaching sessions, and we have no standardized coaching protocol. Really, our coaches are closely communicating with their clients, providing scientific knowledge support, but also helping them to change their nutritional habits step by step, and also trying to get away and help them to overcome their emotional limits that might prevent them from being successful.
Okay, you don't sell products, packaged meals, supplements. Instead, you focus on foods people can purchase in stores.
We are really proud of the fact that we are selling knowledge. We are giving away individualized nutritional pathways. So we're having a program drafted which is going to help our clients going through 4 phases of development, really taking time to change the nutritional habits and we are not selling any kind of product just in order not to make our clients dependent from something pre-packed, from something which is really only available from one brand. No, we just want to give our clients the freedom to accumulate sufficient knowledge in order to make intelligent and healthy choices, to be able to go down to the supermarket and, if you want so, name all vegetables and fruits. No, there's no test in it, but to really choose what is good to them and also to leave what is not good to them, and also to get away from all of the pre-packed foods that will not do them good, that will not be healthy for them. So yes, you're absolutely right. No additional products. We just want to educate our clients to be independent, making healthy choices.
That's very powerful information, and very different from the instant fix promotions that people tend to see. And I can see where Metabolic Balance provides people with a long-term sustainable solution for metabolic syndrome. But are they the people with metabolic syndrome? Are they the only people that can benefit from the program?
No, Phil, it's absolutely not limited to clients who just want to reverse, or just is maybe not an appropriate word, who want to reverse or to decrease metabolic syndrome. We are targeting all clients who are in search for better health, who are possibly being stressed out, who are suffering from an imbalance and hormonal imbalance, because initially we wanted, our initial target when Dr. Funfack and his wife and her sister were sitting together and were drafting up the program, was not necessarily weight loss, it was reduction of pain. What our clients always experience when they go through the program is they have better sleep, they have higher energy levels, they do no longer feel burned out from everyday stress. So we're really helping to rebalance their hormones by providing them a natural way of feeding their bodies and also feeding their souls.
Well, the big takeaway for me today is that overweight and obese baby boomers who have metabolic syndrome, or who just want to start feeling better and healthier, don't have to suffer. There is a safe, natural, sustainable solution, and that solution is Metabolic Balance. Now, if people want the metabolic program, how can they get started?
If you want to get started, Phil, you just go to our website. You just have a look at www.metabolic-balance.us. We're having a list of coaches over there. You can also get more information. You can get real testimonials. So this is one other axis of communication. We really want to have the word of mouth out about and out of Metabolic Balance. We don't want to invest in heavy marketing campaigns, because it's really the good Metabolic Balance does, transmitted through our clients, which is really important. And if this way is too long for you, do not want to go to the website, you just contact us via us@metabolic-balance.com. You should be able to find an appropriate coach. You can also opt for the long distance coaching. Nevertheless, I really, really recommend our coaches nearby your house in order also to have the physical contact and maybe also a friendship developing and evolving from contacting our Metabolic Balance coaches.
Well, I think that's great information to have. Now, because of your growth in the United States, I know you're always looking for practitioners who want to add metabolic balance to their practice so that they can add more value and help more people. Who would be a good fit, and what's involved in starting a strategic partnership with Metabolic Balance?
You know, if you want to work with us, we are always looking for health professionals. We are always looking for people with a keen interest in nutrition. We are providing coaching seminars, so we call it certification, metabolic balance certification seminars, and we are all over the U.S. Throughout the year. So we are providing every second month a practice day, a coaching practice day with our Director of Coaching and Education, Sylvia Eagle. Before you are going to be able to attend this practical training day, where you will learn how to work with the metabolic balance pathway, with the metabolic balance plan for your clients, you need to have attended a real interesting and real comprehensive online tutorial, an online course, which is going to provide you with the medical, scientific, and nutritional basics of our program. Therefore, the way rather is easy. You are also contacting us via US at metabolic-balance.com. You're going to send us an email. We are going to respond you with the quickest date available for your certification. And after having attended the two parts of the certification, which are also being valued with 24 CEUs by the NANP, you can implement metabolic balance in your practice. The certification comes with a price of $1,999. Nevertheless, it's great to offer natural solutions to obesity, to other diseases, discomfort, and pain by the way of natural food also in your practice. And you're having the experience, a 15-year experience of metabolic balance immediately included into your everyday practice. You have the reliability of our metabolic balance study that is backing all that you're doing and proposing to your clients.
Well, thank you, Franziska. I want to thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule and helping us understand not only metabolic syndrome, but better learning how metabolic balance can be the solution people are looking for. I was very impressed with both your passion for what you're doing and getting your message out. I think it's a very powerful message that the people need to hear, that there is a solution out there that's natural and sustainable. So I want to thank you for being here, and I want you to have a wonderful day.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Phil, for helping me really also getting this message across, talk about metabolic balance and possibly developing metabolic balance in the U.S. and doing good to more and more and more people. Thank you.
You're welcome. Take care.
You've been listening to Never Too Late for Fitness Radio, hosted by Phil Ferris. To learn more about the guests or resources on our show today, or to listen to past episodes, go to nevertoolateforfitness.com.